And we're live! Welcome for this weekly live stream on the greatest and latest news in Ethereum and DeFi. I'm Julian, your host, and if this is your first time here on Eat the Blocks, I teach blockchain development. Hi everybody in the chat. We have George, we have Daryl, Eric, TSX, Dan, Action Photo, Divanshu. Hi guys. So before we start very briefly, so I'd like to mention that this week we're gonna have a live training on how to create a fork of SafeMoon, so how to create your token on the Binance Smart Chain. I've already done this live training about 1 month ago, and I'm gonna do another one this week. This is gonna be Thursday, so if you want to attend, check out the link I just put in the chat. And second thing, so last week I did a live stream where I launched a new concept called Eat the Blocks project. So I'm not going to re-explain, you can check out the live stream, but if you want to participate for the first project we're going to build together, you can register on this mailing list. It's totally free to participate. All right, so let's start with Ether. So this week for Ethereum, so we had this news about EIP 1559, which is about to happen in a couple of weeks. So this is going to be a huge improvement in the ecosystem of Ethereum, so improve UX for the users, because users will not have to manually set the transaction fee. Right now it's a big issue for Ethereum user. They always have to decide what's the gas price, and sometimes it's not enough and the transaction fails, and obviously we cannot really have mainstream adoption with this. So with EIP 1559, the complexity is going to be moved to the wallets, and it's going to be a huge improvement for user. And so here in this Twitter thread, Evan Van Ness explained the different benefit of EIP 1559. And of course it's going to be super bullish for Ethereum. Then other news, so there is this lightweight Ethereum client that is being developed by Tezos. It's called Fluffy. So lightweight clients, they are very important because they allow to improve the decentralization. So for Bitcoin we already have lightweight clients, but for Ethereum, because the technology is more complex, we didn't have them yet. That means that a lot of wallets actually rely on Ethereum nodes that are run in a centralized way, like for example Infura. And so that means you need to have trust in these nodes that are run centrally. But in the future, we won't need access to these nodes for wallets. We could have this lightweight Ethereum node that run, for example, on mobile. So that's extremely important for decentralization. Then here we have an important research that was done about the Ethereum 2.0 validators. And so what's super important to notice is that actually most of the validators got all the rewards that they should have, that they deserve. So there are very few validators that actually missed and that were penalized. So that means there is very little optimization to do for validators. That means everybody can run a validators. It doesn't matter if you are really good technically or not. And this is extremely important for decentralization because, for example, for the current situation with proof of work with mining, you have to be super good technically to actually make money as a miner. But with Ethereum 2.0 validator, you don't have any edge even if you are really good technically. So that's way better for decentralization. And still on the topic of Ethereum 2.0, so a couple of metrics. So we have 173,000 active validators. That's way more than any other blockchain. And the end goal is to have roughly 1 million validators. And when we reach this number, it's going to become absolutely impossible to break Ethereum, to censor it. Absolutely. Yeah, this is huge. And so now we have 5% of the Ethereum supply that is locked in Ethereum 2.0 deposit contract. And so the more Ether that is locked, of course, it's all of this Ether. That means for all this time, they cannot be sold. And so that's bullish for the price of Ethereum. Then we're going to see the metrics for the DeFi market cap. So we are quite stagnant for the total value locked. It's hovering over on 50 billion here. In terms of the number of Ether, that's also we're still on a downward slope, unfortunately. Then in terms of the biggest protocol, so let me switch back to the total value locked. So Aave is still number one with 10 billion. Curve Compound, Uniswap slept a lot. It's only 5 billion now. Then we gonna see the tokens, the top token in DeFi, the worst token of the week. So for the top token, we have Loopring. So Loopring, they've introduced a new liquidity mining incentive, if I remember well. Yeah, we have a Cream, a couple of token in the green, but you can see that really this week it wasn't that great. I mean, the biggest gain was 5%, so it was really a bad week for DeFi token. And when it comes to the loss, we have much more. Yeah, like for example, Pulse, the token for Polka Starter, minus 40% almost. Badger DAO, minus 30%. 1 inch. Yeah, it's pretty violent for DeFi token this week. Then we are going to continue with the news for DeFi project. First, we're going to talk of Risk Harbor. So Risk Harbor is a marketplace to manage DeFi risk, and they just launched on mainnet. And they are offering protection for two protocols, so Harvest and Bondbridge users. And so they have raised money. They've raised $3.25 million. So it's one more protocol that deals with DeFi risk. That's super important with all the hacks that we have. Yeah, probably that in the future when you use a DeFi protocol, it's going to be standard that at the same time you buy some insurance. Then we have this article of the Defiant that explains the latest kind of scam in DeFi, Softworks. So basically in this kind of scam, the developers do not steal the assets of users, but all they do is that they basically dump their token on the market. And so yeah, they just make a lot of money. They exit the protocol. So even though there is nobody is stealing the coin of other people, it's still really bad for an investor. Then some news from Polygon. So even though currently we have lower Ethereum gas fees on mainnet, one big trend that we see is that users are still sticking to Polygon. For example, for the top 10 DeFi DApp on Ethereum, in the last 7 days, on Ethereum, it has attracted a new 100,000 unique active wallet, but for Polygon it was 242,000 unique wallets. So double the number of new users on Polygon on the last 7 days was twice the number on Ethereum mainnet. So it's super impressive. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys have been following my live stream, you probably know that I believe that the coin of Polygon is, so I think it's still called Matic on exchanges. I think this is one of the coins with the most potential. I believe at some point it's going to be bigger than the market cap of Binance Smart Chain. Then we're going to look at DeFi on the Tezos network. So even though DeFi on Tezos is still at the very beginning, there is still already a couple of projects, and so here we have a nice analysis of DApp Radar. So if you're interested in Tezos, have a look. Then there is this interesting article about sorry, I miss where did I miss? Okay, that's I meant to talk about this article here. Yeah, so There is this super cool article about the DAO landscape, and I especially like here this infographic. So that's a summary of the main DAOs, and they group them in different categories: protocol DAO, investment DAOs, etc. So DAOs, they are a really super important part of the industry. So I really recommend you check out this article. Then we're gonna talk of NFT. So here, so we have the NFT with the most trading volume for the last 7 days, and actually it's pretty stable if you compare to last week. So I think last week was almost exactly the same. Axie Infinity, NBA Top Shot, CryptoPunk, etc. Then there is this interesting article about the most common scams in NFT. So it's super important to understand this if you want to invest in NFT. For example, you have an artist impersonation, someone who pretend to be a super famous artist. Then fake storefront. Deceitful bidding, so that one is a little bit more sophisticated. So there is a way to fake the bidding, so to make you believe that something is super valuable. There is also one thing that I haven't mentioned in this article, but I think which is quite important. So sometime you have some artists that create an NFT, and they tell you that it's going to be the only one, but actually they can mint other ones. So if you know how to read smart contract, that's typically something that you can spot in the Solidity code. Then so Reddit announced a new project on NFT. It's called Crypto Snooze. So this is a limited edition of NFT for the couple of we have a couple of design here, and so this is going to be auctioned on OpenSea. And when you buy one of these, it's going to replace your avatar on Reddit, basically. Then on Twitter, so Jay-Z put as his profile picture a CryptoPunk that he bought before. So he bought it for $126,000. It's super cool to see a celebrity to keep pumping NFT. Then we had the most expensive piece of real estate in Decentraland. So there was someone who bought some real estate for $900,000. That's absolutely insane. So there's actually an entity called Republic Realm. So from what I understand, this is a sort of investment fund, but for virtual real estate. Then some news about NFT on Wax. So there is an NFT marketplace that is seeing a lot of gain, a lot of growth on Wax this week. Then some news about some comic who start to be more and more into NFT. And so there is a digital comic book that is going to let the fan decide what's going to be the future of the plot. So it's really nice to see NFT allowing more interaction. This is a very unique use case for NFT. We haven't seen this before. Then we have news about enterprise blockchain and regulation. So Visa, PayPal are going to join Crypto VC blockchain to create a fund of $300 million for crypto. And yeah, so it's very important to see that kind of news in this bear market. You know, like when all the prices are going down, you need to keep your eyes focused on what VC are doing. So VC keep investing. So that's really the most important. Then some news about Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs started to do some trading on a blockchain network managed by JP Morgan. So JP Morgan launched a blockchain network for the repo market. So that's quite technical. This has to do with money market, but basically, just to make it simple, JP Morgan created an enterprise blockchain network for trading, and Goldman Sachs start to do some trading on it. And they are also using a digital version of the US dollar, which is called the JP coin, I believe. So Yeah, this is really in the trend of basically a general trend that we start to see this year, where centralized finance start to adopt a blockchain technology for their own purpose. Then there's some news of a MicroStrategy, which is one of the company that is one of the biggest supporter of crypto in the big corporate. So they've added another $500 million of a Bitcoin in their treasury. So even though the market has been quite down recently, it's always very good signal for the market to see MicroStrategy that still keep believing in crypto. Then we have some news of the Bank of Israel that adopt Ethereum for a trial to create a digital version of the shekel. So the shekel, which is the national currency of Israel. So I don't know exactly why they need Ethereum for this digital version of the shekel. Maybe it's going to be one of the reserve currency. But anyway, it's super positive for Ethereum to see central bank start to buy Ethereum. And I do think that this year we're probably going to start the first version of a central bank coins. Then we have some bad news from the UK. So the UK government is on the hunt for businesses that deal with a crypto asset and that are not registered. So they've made basically a list of different companies that they start to target. Cardano markets here, Ripple markets, etc. And also from the UK, another bad news is that they've announced that Binance isn't allowed to operate in the UK. So unfortunately, a lot of bad news for Binance recently. Then some news from Andreessen and Horowitz, so A16Z, which is one of the biggest investment fund in the Silicon Valley. And so they launched their biggest crypto fund ever, $2.2 billion. I think this is how many funds they had already? Hey, it's the crypto fund number 3. Yeah, there were. So, I mean, they just keep launching new crypto fund. That really tells you that there is a huge appetite from investors to invest in crypto. So it's very good for us developers, because a lot of this money is going to end up as a salary for developers. Then some news from El Salvador, which is going to do a Bitcoin airdrop. Yes, they're going to distribute $117 million of Bitcoin to its citizens. So it's about $30 of Bitcoin to each adult citizen. And this comes in the wake of another news for El Salvador. So a couple of weeks ago, they announced that Bitcoin will be legal tender in the country. And this news is very important because, sometimes we might think that all countries are going to fight crypto in the same way. Every country is going to be united. For example, recently we had this global tax launched by Joe Biden, and some people say, oh yeah, this is the end of crypto. All the countries are coming together. They're going to do the same for crypto. But no, we forget that not all countries have the same interest, the same incentive, the same policy. So while you're going to have some country that start to really go against crypto, other countries are going to be super favorable. And because we kind of have a consensus across all countries, that's why it's going to be very, very difficult to totally outlaw crypto. Then some news about chain analysis. So that's a company to do some analysis on the blockchain that's very used by law enforcement, for example, when they want to track criminal on the blockchain. And so they have raised $100 million and for a total valuation of $4 billion. That's huge, because we start to see more and more crypto company with $1 billion valuation. Obviously, we have Coinbase, but now we also have many other company like this. So, I remember a few years ago when chain analysis was just starting, they were far from this kind of valuation, and just in a few years, they grew so fast. It's really insane. Then we have some news from Citigroup. So they are launching a new digital asset unit in their wealth management division. So that means they're going to propose some investment product for crypto to their wealthy customer. So that means once again there is a lot of demand from wealthy people to invest in crypto. Then some news from Elon Musk. So Elon Musk may debate with Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter. He may debate with Jack Dorsey at an upcoming Bitcoin event. So yeah, it's probably gonna be interesting, and probably we're gonna have a lot of volatility for Bitcoin as always when Elon Musk talk about crypto. Then we have some news about the SEC. So the SEC is going to delay the IPO of Robinhood because of its growing crypto business. I don't like Robinhood. Like we all know what happened at the beginning of the year during the GameStop saga when they prevented investors from buying. Basically from buying GameStop, totally siding with their investor who happened to be this big fund that were losing to these Redditors. So yeah, not a big fan of Robinhood. I don't really see what can they add to crypto except to add an on-ramp for people who want to invest in crypto. But yeah, generally I don't really like this company. Then we have some news from Huobi, an exchange in China, which we started to ban crypto derivatives for users in China. So yeah, in the past few weeks, we had really a ton of negative news coming from China. Then one of the big news of the week is, of course, John McAfee, one of the top celebrity in the crypto industry, that was found dead in his cell in Spain. So he was arrested by Spanish authority because he's wanted by the American government for tax evasion and other things. So yeah, I mean there is a lot of debate around his death because he tweeted at least one time, maybe twice, that if one day people find him hanged in his cell, it wouldn't be from his own volition. And he didn't really give any sign that he was depressed, that he was planning to commit suicide. So yeah, there are a lot of rumors, especially because I think he had some link with Epstein. So yeah, of course that reminds the death of Epstein. Yeah, personally I don't have any info, but yeah, I mean that's sad, like John McAfee was really one of the biggest figure in crypto, and even though he has let's say an interesting story, the fact is I think he was appreciated in the crypto industry, especially in the Bitcoin crowd. So yeah, it's sad for crypto. Then some news from other blockchain, from the Solana ecosystem. So they just tweeted an infographic about all the DApp, and I was pretty impressed. I didn't realize that they grew so much already. So yeah, I'm considering doing some tutorials about Solana because I think this is something super interesting. Then some news from Chainlink. So there is a crypto project called Connexion that is going to launch a new Chainlink node that's going to bring real-time sentiment on the crypto market on chain. So that's going to be interesting for maybe a new category of strategy in DeFi that leverage this sentiment info, maybe for a new kind of yield farming, for example. Then there was a small hike on the Binance Smart Chain, only $500,000. Like usually we're used to $1 million, so it looks like a small one. And then some news for developers. So there was a new version of Remix that was released, and now they have updated. They've released an update with the London the update for the London hard fork. Also, we have a new release of Solidity, so it's mostly a bug fix. And what else? We have a tool that was released by Coinbase called Solidify. So that's a tool to automatically detect and classify the security risk in smart contract. And finally, we have a toolkit from Opin to allow you to build project on top of their options. So it's pretty interesting because Opin, this is an interesting protocol, but it's also quite complex. So yes, typically the kind of project you can use to play around, try to build on top of Opin without spending too much time in the details of the implementation. All right, so now we're gonna do the Q&A, but very briefly, let me remind you of the two announcements. So first announcement, this week on Thursday, I'm gonna do a new live training for the SafeMoon token. So if you want to fork SafeMoon and create your own token on the Binance Smart Chain, so you can register for this event. I put the link in the chat. And second, if you are interested in building projects together, so you can check out the live stream I did last Friday. I explained this in more detail. And if you want to be involved in this, we're going to build a project together. You register here. This is free to participate. Okay, so let me scroll up in the chat and we'll see the question. All right. Devanshu, please shout out to my token. Bill hates on Binance Smart Chain. Okay, so I see a lot of sad emoticons. So I guess your token didn't fare very well, I guess. Too bad. Action photo. When is the proof of stake scheduled for Ethereum? Well, there are different phases. And one of the phase that is coming very fast is basically the switch from proof of work to proof of stake, and this can happen in the next few months. Georgie, can you share all those articles? Thanks. Okay, now maybe next time, but I have no easy way to share them in the chat. Massa, hey sir, what do you think about Polycrystal? I don't know. Don't know this project. Georgie, Polygon is way faster and cheaper than ETH, so my bet on Polygon. Yes. Action for the passion. I tried to buy some Tron today to start to collect some Tron, but just can't buy. The transaction aren't going through. Is it because it's Chinese and Europe is like banning it? No, I think there is no relationship with this. Maybe your gas price was too low. Action for the passion. Weird then. Thank you for the explanation. MJS, yo Julian, awesome as always. Thanks, man. MJS, you believe that ETH would flip Bitcoin by market cap this bull run? You can see on Ratio Gang or TradeView. Yes, I mean, you know, even if it doesn't happen during this bull run, it's going to happen eventually. Georgie, MJS. What is a great tutorial to learn how to use DEX tools? Okay, I will have a look at DEX tools because several people mentioned this. Zenith, love your work, thank you. Gabriel, great. Matthew Harmon, the good news is that if Bitcoin was going to drop below 20k again, it probably would have with all the recent news. Maybe, you know, but I mean, personally, as I always said, you know, like really invest on the long term, like just do some dollar cost averaging. Only invest what you can afford to lose, and if you do all of this, you're patient really on the long term. There is no way you can lose really if you're really patient. Of course, if you want to become rich super fast, then it's not gonna work. Okay, so then Team B RIP McAfee, that was a great antivirus those days. Yes. Crypto Michael, you say I'm late. Yes. Matthew, has anyone heard of the price aggregator ORFID? Yes, I've used it, but I'm not sure if it's still maintained. Jay Shah, can you please describe use case MongoDB in EtherBlocks project? One is just to store the result of the vote, because we're going to do the vote off chance, so that it doesn't cost any money to vote, so that there is no friction at all. And then because I really want to maximize the utilization, I don't want people to not vote because they have to pay. Yeah, so this is it. Batman, smash the like button. Thanks, man. Appreciate. All right, guys. Are we running out of questions already? I believe so. So let me share once again the two links of this week. So first, there's gonna be a new session for the live training on forking SafeMoon. So this is gonna be this week, Thursday at 11 p.m. UTC plus 8. And second thing, if you're interested in the ETB project, that's something I explained last week, you can register here. Arman, hi, I'm senior .NET developer and I'm looking for a way to get out of here. I just started learning Solidity and I'm thinking of becoming a blockchain developer. Yeah, I mean, if you already have a developer background, it's going to help you a lot, that's for sure. A default say, how can I get some Kovan or Mumbai with the faucet closed? Well, you can ask people on Twitter and just wait for the faucet to come back online. Yeah. Arman, how much is going to take to land a job as a blockchain developer? Okay, so I have a free training on that. Let me see. If you want to know how you can get your first blockchain job, you register to this free training here. Okay, guys. Well, I see no more question. So we are going to stop here. So thanks for coming to this stream and have a great week. And I will see you soon on Eat the Blocks. Bye, guys. Have a great week. Bye bye.